The Washington Post reporting that the feds were looking for classified nuclear documents during their search of former President Trump's Florida home on Monday. Trump's denying any such thing, calling that report a, quote, hoax. Joining us now is Michael Allen, former special assistant to the president and former senior director for counterproliferation strategy at the NSC, which is an important former title to have, because then maybe you can explain this to us. So President Trump's denied it. So let's set that out. But when the Washington Post reports this, talk about nuclear documents. Like, what kind of documents would they be?
Well, two sets of documents come to mind. If it's about the United States nuclear weapons program, that is certainly something the Russians and the Chinese would be interested in. They want to be able to defeat our nuclear weapons or understand our nuclear protocol better in the unlikely event of a nuclear war. The other thing it could possibly be referring to are documents pertaining to the nuclear programs of foreign adversaries, for example, North Korea or Iran. And sometimes it's not so much the information that's conveyed in an intelligence document. It's really about how did the United States get their hands on this information. And if a foreigner or a foreign government were able to look at this particular document and say, I see, it might be derived by a computer intrusion or a tapped phone line, they might take remedial action to cut off the U.S. access. So I think that's what the USG is after, although I admit it's hard to figure out. We're all reading tea leaves in these newspaper
We
articles.
are. Last night on The Five, I sort of joked, but I said that I don't understand how a document could be this dangerous unless it has the nuclear codes on it. But maybe you could explain. The nuclear codes aren't on a piece of paper that you can send around. I was joking about that, but confirmed that I'm right. The nuclear codes are something a little more sophisticated.
Much more sophisticated than that, highly encrypted. It's called the football, as you know, from being around President Bush. And you have military men and women escorting the president with this particular set of documents and codes to launch nuclear weapons.
So just to clarify that for everybody, and if you were watching The Five, I was joking. I'll be on The Five tonight. Maybe I'll make another joke. We'll see what happens from there. I also wanted to ask about this. There was an assassination plot, apparently, against President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton. He said this, that the regime in Tehran has targeted a lot of Americans. The aim here is to kill Americans on American soil and its former government officials. This is a broad threat to private American citizens on American soil, and I think it is essentially unprecedented. This comes just a few days before, apparently, the EU is going to present a newly revised agreement with Iran on its nuclear program. What should we do now?
Well, this is crazy. The very week we learn of this this assassination plot, we hear that we're going to make additional concessions to the Iranians on their obligations to a nuclear watchdog organization to give a full accounting of their past nuclear activities. And so, at the minimum, the United States, the Biden administration, ought to put a hold on these nuclear negotiations and make some serious demands of the Iranians that they not try and assassinate our own men and women. By the way, George H.W. Bush was targeted, and Bill Clinton sent cruise missiles into Iraq. So this deserves more than a statement type of response from this administration.
And it wasn't just John Bolton. It was Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State, and possibly others. That is all still under wraps, so for now. Michael Allen, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Sandra,